Hi. Um, I've never actually gone live before. I also don't know which picture they're going to show, whether it's a picture of me going like this or whether it's me with the llama. Anyway, it's me and I'm going live. Zachariah Adil here from Heart Nation. I just wanted to quickly do this live. I've been meaning to for a while since we were unbanned because the reason why I haven't been here is because me and Shiva have been banned. We put out a video about the vaccine in December and YouTube didn't like it so much, so they removed it. And we got a 90-day ban. And then when we were about to come out with that ban, they said that we had done an interview with Piers Corbyn that they didn't like, and they banned us again. So that's why we haven't been around, and that's why we haven't done any videos. But we've been doing other stuff as well, to sort of try to keep things going, keep things moving. I can't get the lighting right. I just wanted to, you know what I wanted to do is I wanted just to firstly explain why we haven't been around. And also the other thing I wanted to do was I got this, I'm signed up to Michael O'Benasia's subscription. And he's the one that's currently trying to take Valence Whitty, Neil Ferguson and Hancock to court. And he submitted his paperwork, so we're waiting to see what's going to happen with that. But he also he sent a message, an email, sort of a subscription message out to people today, and I wanted to read some of the things that he was quoting because I thought it was really, really interesting. So he's talking about a globalist banker who talked about the scamdemic or the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, back in 1981. He said what the plan was going to be. So this is this guy's name is Jacques or Jacques, I don't know how you pronounce it, Attali. And it's taken from, this one's actually taken from an interview with Michael Salomon. And I wanted to quickly read out what it says because it's very, very interesting for all those people who think that what's happening is just a coincidence, or it's not pre-planned. This really does put it into perspective. This was an interview in 1981. This is what he says. In the future, it will be a question of finding a way to reduce the population. We will start with the old because as soon as it exceeds 60 to 65 years, man lives longer than he produces and costs society dearly. Then the weak and then the useless who do nothing for society, because there will be more and more of them, and especially the stupid ones. Euthanasia, targeting these groups. Euthanasia will have to be an essential instrument of our future societies in all cases. We cannot, of course, execute people or set up camps. We will get rid of them by making them believe it is for their own good. Too large a population, and for the most part unnecessary, is something economically too expensive. Socially, it is also much better for the human machine to come to an abrupt halt rather than gradually deteriorating. We won't be able to run intelligence tests on millions and millions of people, you can imagine. We will find something or cause it, a pandemic that targets certain people, a real economic crisis or not, a virus that will affect the old or the fat. It doesn't matter. The weak will succumb to it. The fearful and the stupid will believe it and ask to be treated. We will have taken care to have planned the treatment, a treatment that will be the solution. The selection of idiots will thus be done on its own. They will go to the slaughterhouse on their own. So yeah, that's part of it. That's in Michael Benosia's subscription email that he sent out. That was one of the quotes that he read out from this guy Jacques Attali, and then he wrote a book as well. I think it was a book, and then he wrote more. I wanted to read this out also because it was very interesting to me. Where's it gone now? What did I do with it? Here it is. Okay, just give me 1 second. So this is from a book called The Weapons of Hyperconflict by the same guy. So this is what he says here. In all ages, the outcome of wars has been decided by possession of new arms and by the price attached by each belligerent to the lives of its own soldiers. In their time, the archers at the Battle of Crécy, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Crecy, the tanks of the First World War and the atomic weapons of the Second World War decided the fate of battles. In all ages, new weapons have appeared, at once the products and the midwives of civilian technologies. The propeller was born with the lever, rearms with mechanization, tanks with the automobile. Inversely, it was in the armed forces that the telegraph, the radio, energy, the nuclear weapon, and the internet were born alongside many other technological innovations. In the next 50 years, new technologies will be developed by armies before being used on the civilian market for defense or police surveillance. Inversely, these technologies will then have civil applications. I wonder what they're talking about. In fact, these future weapons will endlessly be founded on the concept of surveillance. Armies will at once develop digital infrastructures of nomadic ubiquity, surveillance systems for suspect movements, the means of protecting strategic installations, and a network of economic intelligence. Robots concealed in enemy territory, and drones, flying robots, will relay data, detect chemical or biological agents, and serve as scouts ahead of infantry detachments faced with mined areas or blind spots. Software simulating battle will be permanently updated as close as possible to the battlefields. This is in 1981. Is it 1981? No, sorry. This is from 2006. This is from 2006. Furthermore, new combat units will be integrated with the means of simulation, surveillance, and striking. New networks and instruments of nomadic ubiquity will allow combatants to stay connected and simulate every kind of situation. Intelligent clothing will serve to manufacture new uniforms. New materials will make it possible to design new shields. Three-dimensional simulation technologies will help prepare and carry out combat missions, while robots will work as substitutes for real fighters. Electronic systems, E-bombs, will be able to destroy communication grids and leave an opposing force blind and deaf. Marines will play a new part in the fight against trackers, in immigration surveillance, and in the protection of strategic straits. Fighter aircraft will no longer be as useful as today and will lose their influence over staff thinking and military budgets. New so-called conventional weapons will be all the more necessary as unconventional weapons, nuclear and other, become more and more widely disseminated. By 2040 or 2050, a total of more than 15 countries will openly possess nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them. Shortage of oil will also impel the most diverse countries towards the production of civil nuclear power stations. This will lead them to use recycled wastes known as MOX, M-O-X, for fuel, further multiplying the risks of proliferation and also of disappearance of wastes during the transfer of these radioactive materials. Such wastes could then be used to manufacture radiological weapons, mingling nuclear wastes and conventional explosives. Other weapons, chemical, biological, bacteriological, electronic, and nanotechnological, will then appear. As with the new civil technologies, they will prefigure. Scientists will strive to increase their power, their miniaturization, and their accuracy. Chemical arms will be capable of seeking out and killing leaders without being detected. Pandemics could be ready for unleashing at will. Complex genetic arms may one day be directed specifically against certain ethnic groups. That's important. Nano robots, as small as a mote of dust known as grey jelly, could carry out stealth surveillance missions and attack the cells of enemy bodies. Then, once animal cloning techniques have progressed, cloned animals could well carry out missions, living animal bombs, monsters out of nightmare. These weapons will not be developed solely in the military laboratories of powerful countries, but also by big business, circus businesses, which will find new markets for them. As always, armaments will remain at the heart of the industrial apparatus, and until super empire is here, public markets will be essentially oriented towards the armament sector. Big insurance firms and mercenary companies will then pick up the torch. Most of these weapons will be accessible to small nations, to non-states, to corsairs, to pirates, mercenaries, maquisards, mafias, terrorists, and every kind of tracker. In the not-so-distant future, for example, it will be possible to make an E-bomb for $400 from a condenser, a reel of copper wire, and an explosive. Chemical, radiological, and biological weapons will thus be affordable to everyone. Killing more and more people with rudimentary means will become a sad possibility. In cities and on mass transport, crowding will multiply the effectiveness of the most primitive weapons. Finally, and perhaps especially, since no war can be won unless the peoples waging it believe it just and necessary, and unless the loyalty of citizens and their belief in its values are maintained, the chief weapons of the future will be the instruments of propaganda, communication, and intimidation. So I just wanted to read that little bit out because I thought it was so relevant. so disgusting that somebody could write that knowingly and like as a plan, as a they. I mean, this. I think what it shows is that so much of this has been pre-thought and pre-planned and organized, and they're using the humanity sort of weaknesses against us, and it's really not very nice to put it lightly, but it's taken us down a seriously bad route. So I think it's really important that we realize what's happening and realize that this is planned. I guess this is for those people that haven't realized just what's happening, that it's a conscious ploy. And I think that that's why I made this video just really, really quickly, because when I read it on the Michael Benessier's email, I was just so taken aback, and I thought people need to know this, that this has been so long planned. I mean, this guy was writing in 1981 or speaking in 1981 about this, and then in 2006 later. But come on, we need to open as many eyes as possible. So if you think somebody might benefit from hearing that, please send them this video. Thank you very much. We will be back. We'll be making some more videos, hopefully doing some more interviews, and we'll be back soon. Thank you. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.